Hello.
Morning, everybody. We haven't seen you for a while.
No, you've been busy, I've been busy.
Well, tell us what you've been busy with, Wendy Budd.
So, I've been busy opening the new Temperance Health in Gosport High Street and opening the Student Herbal Medicine Clinic.
It's very exciting.
Yes, it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey.
We were just discussing this, 9 months since you moved into this premises.
Yes.
But here you are open.
Finally,
exciting.
well, it had to happen. I mean, it's an old building. It's actually a Georgian building. It's a lovely building, but when you start doing building work,
You unpick things.
yes. So there was a lot that needed doing. All the windows needed replacing, and you can't really finish until the windows are done. But we're open now, and yeah, it's very exciting.
Do you want to do a very quick virtual tour? I'm just going to pick
Yes.
the phone up and turn it around the room.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we are. So we start with lovely bar stools in the window there. And then we move around. We've got some lovely flowers down here.
Our
And then
coffee
across, we've got
bar.
a coffee bar.
This is our herbal dispensary at the end, and behind there are our clinic rooms.
So
My gorgeous fig.
where's your fig? This big tree?
That big tree,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Lovely.
Yes.
There you go. All right, very brief tour there.
Yes, so we are open. We sell herbal teas. We sell normal tea and normal specialty coffee. Normal. I know, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's herbal, but we do sell English breakfast. We sell a huge array of green teas. It's all loose leaf and organic. Our coffee is roasted by Broadway Coffee Roasters, which are based in Portsmouth. Amazing coffee. And then our Student Herbal Medicine Clinic is open on a Sunday and a Monday, and that offers free consultations for patients. They'll be taken by a second or third year herbal medicine student in training, but they'll be overseen by myself. The consultation is completely free, but if you do decide to purchase any of the herbal medicines that we recommend, that will be charged at the normal price.
They're inexpensive though, aren't they? You said they're about £10 a week or
About
something like that?
£10 a week.
Yeah, that's really inexpensive. That's wonderful.
I thought you said they were really expensive.
No, inexpensive.
Oh, inexpensive.
I thought you were
I
giving me a
thought it was
funny
like,
look.
oh God, they're
No,
really expensive.
This is a terrible plug.
No, they are relatively. I mean, I don't know how much a conventional prescription is now. Do you?
£10 something, I think.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So we're relatively inexpensive
Ah,
and high quality.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, have you guys had a consultation with Wendy or her team before? Because I certainly have. And it's a whole other experience that you wouldn't get from a conventional medical establishment.
Yeah, I mean, it usually lasts about an hour, so it's completely holistic. We look at not only the reasons why you've come, your presenting complaint, but we look at your medical history, we look at your diet, we look at lifestyle, and then we look at every single system of the body, because that's going to allow us to create a prescription that's tailored for you as an individual. But we also offer dietary advice if needed, and sometimes we would recommend certain supplements as well, yes.
So, I know that we talk about this often when we get together, but just for purposes of people understanding what a consultation would be like. So when I first came to Wendy, we spoke about everything as you discussed. It was very holistic. But what I left with was a very clear action plan of how to improve my health. And so I left with some herbal tincture. I left with some probiotic supplements. I think that was it.
It's all about the gut.
Yeah, all about the gut.
All about the gut.
Which is what I mean. We end up always talking about this.
Yes.
And then had some follow-ups with you, and I think after a year of us working together, we'd absolutely nailed the root of the problem. And I wasn't like going every week or anything. When I say a year of us working together, there was big gaps between us meeting, but you know, there were some stages that I had to take before we could even get to that root cause, but we got to it. So I didn't have to spend any longer than I'd already had on, you know, kind of conventional Western medicine. And if you don't know, I was on acid suppressant drug called omeprazole for like 20 years. And then that caused me to have osteopenia, which is weak bones, and then subsequently broke 7 bones falling down 1 step. And that is the dangers from my perspective of long-term medicine, because when you read about omeprazole, really you're only supposed to use it for a short-term period, 2 to 3 weeks. And I was on it for like 20 years.
And so many people are. So many people are. And it really is of concern, because it's very effective at what it does. It does lower the stomach's secretion of acid. But of course, you need acid to break down food, but particularly protein. And if you take those drugs long term, you will develop nutritional deficiencies, because you won't be able to absorb the nutrients through your food effectively.
Yeah, so what Wendy did was she rebuilt my digestive system, really, you know, through...
Well, you did. You built, you rebuilt.
But you gave me the plan to do it.
Yeah, and you were very good. You stuck to it.
Yeah, you have to go when you're ready. I think that's one of the key things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to go when you're ready. But after I'd done, you know, gluten-free for a long period of time, and then had the probiotic supplements and the herbal tinctures, I was in a good enough place that we could then figure out exactly what was going on for me, and we did. You know, we worked together, and I've made long-term changes to my lifestyle, and subsequently have reduced the majority of my issues.
And you don't. The point is that you're not taking a regular.
I'm not taking any.
No.
I'm not taking any medicine. No Western medicine at all anymore.
And you don't really take.
And
you don't need your tincture.
I don't need
anymore.
my tinctures anymore.
And that's what we really want. We want you to be healthy, not needing to take any medicine, whether it be herbal or. I mean, sometimes people do need conventional medicines. And long-term herbal medicines, but my job is to really get the patient to not need me. Right,
and then the job, the kind of the what I'd experienced through traditional Western medicine was that the goal was to keep me on
you
medicine
as a customer
for as long as I could be on it, like 20 years for a drug that you're only supposed to take for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking, isn't it?
So
it really is.
So it's a totally different approach. Wendy, of course, needs to make money as a business, but she's not here like a billionaire pharmaceutical industry. She's here because she genuinely wants to correct what's wrong in your body and get you to overcome it.
And I think what's so wonderful about my job is that you see whole families. You know, someone will come to see me and then they'll send their niece or their auntie or their grandmother, and then when your patients have babies, you get to see them and support them throughout the pregnancy and after. So yeah, it's lovely. That is just lovely.
Literally, when my kids have an ailment, I'm like, Wendy, what can I use? And you know, I got a big bag of tea from you the other day for my daughter that gets frequent UTIs.
Does she drink it okay?
Yeah, loves it.
She loves it? Oh, I'm so bit. Normally children are okay, actually. It's adults that...
They go, ew.
Yeah. But
I mean, to be fair, the tincture is an acquired taste.
It is. It certainly is. We always say that it tastes interesting. Yes. But yeah, they don't taste the best. But then it's medicine. It's not supposed to taste of banana or, you know, some, you know.
Except that cough and cold stuff that you make. What's that syrup, which is delicious?
Yeah, that's actually a recipe that was rediscovered from a really traditional herbalist in Edinburgh. It's a herbalist called Napier's, and that recipe was created in 1860. And it's got over 70 different herbs in it.
What is it called?
It's called the cough compound, the Napier cough compound.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It is nice,
I'm
isn't
going to
it?
neck the whole bottom of that in
Yeah.
one go.
I mean, it's so effective as well, because I mean, in 1860, that was before the advent of antibiotics. So, I mean, when you take that, you can tell.
Got some customers looking through your window there. Reading
Yes.
So yeah, so if we haven't sold it enough, I mean, this is a shameless plugging kind of
Yes.
video, because we need to do that as business owners sometimes. Definitely check out Wendy and her team, because Wendy not only is a fabulously experienced herbalist herself, she is the oracle for all of the student herbalists.
Wow. It's a real honour to be able to have a small part in the training of the new herbalists, and I think I love what I do. I think my vocation as a medical herbalist, I get really emotional about it, because I feel that we're walking in the path of the ancestral herbalists from thousands and thousands of years. I mean, it's such an old profession. We always used herbs as medicines to help heal and cure and help with people's optimization of health. And then to help the new students, it's amazing. It's really good.
So you can see one of Wendy's student herbalists here for free while they're training, obviously overlooked and supervised by Wendy. But all you have to do, if you want to, is then purchase the herbal medicine after, which we said is normally around £10 a week-ish, depending on what you need. And so, yeah, I think for me, if that's the cost of a prescription, like, what have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Book in. I'll give Luke the link. There's a Google Calendar appointment schedule link thing that you can click on and look at the next available appointment times.
Great.
But you've got some really fun things on this summer. Self-care summer.
I know, self-care summer.
So tell me all about that.
Shall I say how we got to self-care summer?
Yeah.
So it was a bit of an accident, really. I don't know if you remember, at the LV Life Wellbeing Centre last December, we did a charity weekend. And so we did an open weekend. We all put on some events or some treatments, and people booked for a donation. And it was really successful.
Oh, that's really nice.
We sold out. It was great. So I thought, we'll do another one of those this summer.
So it's donation.
Well, I'll tell you more in a minute.
Okay.
So I thought that we would do another one of those this summer, right? Summer traditionally is a very quiet time in my business, in my industry. And I thought, well, how can we encourage people in, get people to try things, get people to know that we exist, and it not to really cost them anything. And so I thought I'd put another weekend on. So I planned it all in for the 1st and 31st and the 1st, so the end of the summer, 31st of August, 1st of September. And then realised that there's the Gosport Sunset Festival with a big Mind, Body, Spirit fair there on that weekend. And it's the Mind Management conference over in Portsmouth that weekend.
Oh, it's a popular weekend.
And I was like, I can't compete with those. So I thought, actually, that would be a silly weekend to do it. And then I got thinking, why does it have to be a weekend? A couple of my team said, I can't do that weekend anyway. Can I do something at another point in the summer? And I thought, actually, you know what? We could just make it the whole damn summer.
Oh, I love that.
So I thought we would do a self-care summer.
Lovely.
So all summer long, we have some of our regularly scheduled classes and then some new events, plus treatments and therapies and readings and all sorts of things happening that are either free or by donation. And so you can book any of those events. There's more than 30. At the moment, I think we've got 31, but there's more coming, and some of those are even split up. So when I say 31, one of those might be one therapist using a treatment room for 4 hours. So actually within that, they're then using like 4 treatments. So there's loads. Like, it's probably going to end up around 50 plus things that you can attend for free.
And it's a really good way to check something out that you
Yeah.
maybe have been thinking about trying but haven't
absolutely
bit the bullet sort of thing.
And I personally think that accessibility is really important. It's a cost of living crisis. It's a tricky time right now, and some people may have been holding off because they don't think they can afford it, or that they're not sure if it's good value. Are they gonna? Is it worth their £12 or whatever? Come and try it. If you've been thinking, you can literally spend the entire summer going to self-care events, looking after yourself, getting what you really need, particularly if the kids are home and driving you insane all summer. You're going to need some you time.
So what have you, give us some examples of what's going on.
Okay, so if we just talk about regularly scheduled classes, I've always had an accessible class, which is my Monday evening sound meditation. So that's always been by donation. However, so we don't just have that now. So that is, of course, still carrying on all summer because we always do that. But now I've also added in a yoga class. So you can come to a weekly yoga class by donation rather than having to pay full rate. Or for free, no judgment. If you want to book the free ticket, just book the free ticket. I'm not going to check who did what. So we have those. So that's a regularly scheduled class. Sarah, who works here, is doing her regular yoga nidra class that she does every fortnight, is now going to be free or donation based over the summer.
And she's lovely, isn't she? She's such a gem.
And our classes always get glowing reviews, so definitely check that out. Monica, who works here.
I know.
So Monica, I know.
Is it a bit of a revolving door?
Well, I'm going to take commission
Yeah.
for all of the staff that I sent to Wendy. No, it's great. We're all about collaboration and sharing. So Monica, who works here, is going to be doing, she teaches yoga every week, so she's putting on a yoga class for you to try her classes. She's also doing a 5-hour, I take that back, a 3-hour event about emotional releasing. So that's a workshop that she's putting on. I think that's on the 31st of August. So you can try a specific workshop of hers. I'm putting on an evening of tarot, and we'll come on to tarot in a minute because we want to talk about that today, don't we? So I'm doing an evening of tarot, which will be an interactive evening. So you can come along, you can learn about tarot, you can have a play with the tarot. You can do little readings with people, and you'll all be novices, so you don't need to have any experience whatsoever. It's just a bit of fun. And then you'll get a mini reading from me as part of that evening as well.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, and so Chrissy, for example, is doing mindfulness classes, and she's doing a journaling workshop. What else? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head because there's so many events.
Sarah Greentree doing anything? Sharon?
Yes.
Sorry, Sharon.
Yes, so Sharon is doing a yoga nidra class. It's on a Friday at 11 a.m. I think it's Friday I can't remember. I want to say the 9th, Friday the 9th, I think. So she's doing a class as well. We've got a lady called Karen Baldwin who's doing treatment. So she's doing, I want to pronounce this right, gua sha facials. Indian foot massage and Reiki and crystal healing. So you can book
I love a foot massage. I might book in for that one.
So you can book a one-to-one therapy with her. Katie Delaney is doing thinking sessions. So she's like a mindset coach, a thinking coach. And so she will kind of encourage people through their own thoughts to kind of action plan for their lives, come to conclusions, create decisions, or just really to help people move forward in their lives through a thinking, coaching mechanism. So she's got a bunch of sessions booked in that you can book one-to-one. Gosh, there's so many, and I just can't think of them all off the top of my head.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. So self-care summer.
Self-care summer.
I think that's a really, really good idea.
So you can find that information either on my Facebook page, which is where you're watching this, or on my website, lukevoulgarakis.com. I'll make sure there's a link in the comments. So there's more events being added day by day. And so the whole summer long, just come and enjoy something for free or by donation. Also help support a small business because it's a real struggle, honestly, for me to keep the doors open through the summer because it's a very quiet time. So anything that you can do to help support a small business is also hugely appreciated.
I think it's wonderful that you're turning a time that is genuinely difficult into something really positive. And I think that's so interesting in life, isn't it? That how we can our perspective, I'm sure Kate Delaney will be talking about this in her coaching sessions, but how you perceive something can change your whole worldview.
Yeah. Just generally changes energy, doesn't it? It changes your energy, the way you think and feel about things, what you attract. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you could be all woe is me, the summer's really quiet, what am I going to do? But instead of that, you've turned it into a wonderful event that I'm sure is going to be really successful and hopefully help a lot of people to embrace self-care.
And the importance of it.
Yeah.
Because self-care is not selfish, it's essential.
It is. It really is.
Fundamentally essential. Why do we... can we just bang on about self-care for a moment?
Yeah, we can.
Why do we invest in things that are not good for our health, such as alcohol, smoking, coffee, I don't know. You go and buy a fancy Costa coffee, I don't know. But, we don't really think about it. We just buy those things because they're habitual. Chocolate bars, takeaways. None of those things are doing us any good. They're enjoyable, but they're not necessarily doing us any good.
Not in the long term.
Not in the long term. There might be a short-term relief or escapism, but in the long term, yes, they're not really doing us any good. We know that. We know that when we eat a chocolate bar, it's not healthy. But yet, we don't really think about investing in that stuff. But when it comes to allowing yourself some peace, some calm, some relaxations, a clear mind, a healthy body.
It's amazing how many excuses that you can bring to not do those things.
Yeah, people go, oh, I can't afford it. And I think...
oh, I just don't have the time.
Oh, I don't have the time. And I think, oh, but actually you can afford a takeaway or a packet of cigarettes or some alcohol. And you have time to enjoy that. So I'm not trying to be preachy about it because we all have our vices, don't we? I mean, I'm an absolute sugar addict, as you know, and I will go out in the middle of the night to go and buy sugar. Not in the middle of the night, but in the evening when I'm sat down, if we haven't got what we need, or I'm like, oh, I'll just get a takeaway. I get it, right? And when I very first started yoga, I quite often used to go and pick my friend Lindsay up, and I get to her house and we go, should we just have a takeaway? Okay, and we just not go. So I get it. But on the other side of that, I can tell you that when you actually invest the time for self-care, and I know that from my yoga students that they say, oh, I wasn't feeling up for it tonight, but I came and I'm glad that I did. Once you do it, you recognise its importance and its value, and then you think actually 12 quid is totally worth it.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think you never regret something that you do. It's normally, for me personally, it's the things that I don't do that I regret. And then you just beat yourself up because you haven't done X, Y, Z.
Yeah, so I think you don't even have to think about the money aspect over this summer, is my point. Like, if you've been putting it off because you think you can't afford it right now, you can come and enjoy it and experience it and then decide on its value. Then decide, actually, this is more valuable to me than having a couple of beers or whatever.
Because, I mean, how much is a pint of beer now?
No idea, I don't drink.
No, I mean, I don't. Or
it's got to be a fiver, hasn't it?
I would imagine so. And like a packet of cigarettes, I think they're over £10.
I think so.
Like, what? I'm so glad I gave up smoking.
Yeah, I don't know how people afford it, but they do. People always find money for things that.
If you're a smoker, you will always find money for cigarettes.
Yeah. So try and get addicted to self-care.
Yes. And it should be non-negotiable.
I think so.
Part
of your budget.
A non-negotiable self-care is so, because it is consistency. Like, you're not going to achieve a six-pack in a couple of sessions at the gym. But if you consistently practice your meditation, your mindfulness, or whatever you decide to do, it's that consistency that will bring the
change,
rewards.
Builds strength, yeah. Absolutely. So you get 6 weeks of summer to try it, to build consistency. They talk about it, is it 3 weeks to break a habit or make a habit?
I think it depends who you listen to. Yeah. Some people say 3 months. And some people say 6 months to actually embed a habit.
Who knows? But you've got 6 weeks of the summer to try.
I think that's a really good start, isn't it? It really is.
And if after 6 weeks you don't like it, what have you lost? Nothing.
Yeah, no.
So please come along and please tell people, because the more people that know, the better. The more people that we can help with self-care. So please do let people know. Share this video, share the posts, invite people to the groups, you know, and just really help us out, because small businesses like us, for Wendy as well, we can't survive without word of mouth. So we really appreciate anything that you do to help support small businesses like us.
Yeah, and as you say, just liking the video or sharing the video makes a huge difference. So even if you don't want to come to a class or book in for the student clinic, just give us a like and a share, or even better, come along.
Anything you can do to help support small businesses, because it is so difficult being a small business, competing with big corporates, having all the kind of legislation and red tape that we have to go through just to exist, and then the costs, you know, these, you know, if I can't pay the rent at the yoga studio, that comes out of my personal back pocket. You know, I don't have a salary to speak of. I don't, you know, and
we don't take holidays.
We don't take holidays.
We don't have paid holidays.
It costs us a shit ton of money if we go on holiday. You know, and so when you support a small business, like every pounds that we get, we do a little whoop whoop, because
you do.
You know, and that pays for like your home or your dog's food or a birthday present for someone, and for me it pays for my kids' swimming lessons and things like that, you know. We're not lining the back pockets of like greedy CEOs buying their next yacht.
Well said.
Yeah. We're real people in the real community, just like you, trying to do a good, honest thing. And
following our heart, I would say. Like, we've created our businesses because we believe and are 100% into what we do. I mean, I know that you are, and I think you can see how enthusiastic we are.
We don't do what we do for money, we do what we do for love, but we still need the money to keep the doors open.
And I see people say, oh, you know, money is the root of all evil, but it's an energy exchange.
Yeah, it exists. We've got to navigate it because it exists. We can't just ignore it or pretend that it's good or bad. It exists. It is what it is. We have to use it to our advantage. But we're not buying yachts.
No, maybe one day.
No, I would never. Even if I was a billionaire, I'd never buy a yacht.
I'd quite like a boat.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, actually, I think because I read Swallows and Amazons when I was a kid. I don't know if you ever that. I really like the idea of a sailboat, not like a
a luxury yacht with a waitress.
Not a luxury yacht, no.
There you go. We all have our thing.
But tell me about your tarot channel, because you are a tarot reader. And you've been doing regular, is it monthly?
Well, I'm doing monthly and weekly. So I'm doing monthly individual quick tarot videos. I do quick tarot because, I mean, there's so many tarot videos online that are wonderful, but you're like half an hour in and you're going, oh, when's this going to end? And so for me, quick tarot is awesome. Like 5-minute video, boom, get what you need, and then move on with your month. So I do those by every sun sign, well, sun, moon or rising, so every zodiac sign, once a month. And then weekly, I do a combined video where I do a general energies reading, and then an individual card for every sign. And you don't have to watch this 15-minute video normally. You don't have to watch the whole thing. There are time stamps on there, so you can just shoot to your sun, moon, and rising signs and just watch that piece. So yeah, they're going all right. I quite enjoy doing them.
I've watched a few. I'm Aquarius, so
Me too,
yes.
Fellow Aquarians. Is it surprising that we are doing what we are doing? You know, not conforming to society, running our own businesses.
Because we're humanitarians, aren't we?
Being a bit woo-woo.
Yeah. So tell me about the Temperance card in the tarot. What does it mean?
Oh, do you know what? There's just a small handful of cards in a tarot deck that I get, and I'm like, this feels different every time.
Right.
And the Temperance is one of those for me. Every time the card comes up, I feel differently about it. Because for me, tarot is an intuitive thing, and tarot is a tool to access intuition. I don't claim to have psychic abilities. I think we're all intuitive. We all have that. So it's that for me. Like, that's one of those cards that I get a different intuition every time I see it. The thing that I love about the Temperance card is that you can see this kind of winged character, and she's holding 2 cups and she's pouring from one to the other. So for me, it represents just a really harmonious card, a card of like creating balance and also restoration. Like, because you know that phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup. This Temperance character is keeping each cup full by pouring one to another, and is not wasting or spilling any water, but is using energy reserves carefully, mindfully, to help keep balance restored and to keep harmony and to stop those cups spilling over. So I really like the card. It's a very, oh, here's Monica. It's a very kind of, she's trying to get, she has a key?
She has a key. Yeah, I might have to go and get my key out of the door. 1 second.
Sorry, Monica's locked out. Hi. Yeah.
We're just doing our live.
We're just talking about the Temperance card in tarot. So yes, so for me, it's very much a very level-headed kind of peaceful. I don't know if I want to use the word self-centered, but more like a self-care kind of vibe around it, where it is about that kind of harmonious state of working with everything around you, but in equal measure and in harmony, and not with any one thing being more overbearing or more underpowered than another. Does that make sense? And even in the Temperance card, you can see like a change of terrain going on. So like she's dipping her toes in the water. There's some kind of rocky terrain as well. So again, it's using all of that to, oh, we've got some balloons. Look at that. Did you see them?
I did.
So we got, God, what was I saying? I got distracted by the balloons.
Rocky terrain?
Rock, yes, different terrains. So again, it's using everything available. It's dipping the toes in the water to try something new, but still keeping yourself grounded by being on the land as well. You know, it's like using everything available to you, but in harmony. Does that make sense?
Yes, because a lot of people have mentioned that the Temperance movement is a non-alcoholic movement, and I think that's initially where I did get the idea from. When I was at university in Preston doing my herbal medicine degree, there was a Temperance bar, and it was always focused on herbal extracts, root beers, all non-alcoholic, and I loved the idea of having a Temperance bar. And because I make kombucha as well, I've been making that for years, I always thought, oh, it'd be lovely to have like a non-alcoholic sort of Temperance bar. But there is the connotation that it's a Christian sort of anti-alcohol movement. And I think that is part of what a lot of people think of as temperance. But for me, it was more what you're saying about the tarot, that perfect balance, how you can't rush nature. And when I was looking up the tarot card before I was opening, it was quite interesting because it's all about patience. And I think this whole temperance thing,
It's been testing your patience.
it has, and it's been sort of a lesson for me in how to try not to manipulate or force things. You know, like everything has its time. And sometimes, as annoying as it is, you cannot force a flower to bloom. You can't force a crop to be ready for harvest if it's not. You've got to have temperance. And yeah, so it's been a massive lesson in temperance for me.
Very much about that harmony, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just allowing it to be and to happen and to flow, because you can't control, you can't put in an overbearing energy for temperance because it's not going to do anything.
No, it's like you can't force a seed to I was going to say bloom.
I know what you mean.
But you know, yeah.
Grow.
Sprout, yes. You can't make it, you know, and it's, being in the flow. And I found that very, very difficult because things would come up and go wrong, or you'd be waiting for contractors, or, you know, and it was a lesson in letting go and allowing the flow to come naturally.
And we're not good at that as Aquarians because we're quite headstrong.
No.
And we've got ideas and plans and a bigger vision.
But what I've noticed is when I did force things, actually I've had to redo all that stuff.
Met resistance, do you think?
Yeah, or I had it done, forced it to be done, and then I've taken it all down. But when I've allowed things to happen naturally, it's been better than how I envisioned it in the first place. But it is very difficult to do that. Very difficult. Yes.
We want to be taking charge and leading the way.
Yes, I've certainly been taking a lot of my herbs, you know, to keep me calm and to help my adrenals. And I think they've definitely worked because I could have had quite a lot of sleepless nights. But actually, even in the worst times, I've been sleeping really well. So
good. Great. Well, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
There's so much going on.
So self-care summer. Do please like and share. And if you don't follow LV Life, please do. And the same for me. Yes.
So are you going to have a separate page for Temperance, or are you going to change?
Yeah, I will. So we've got the Budd's Herbal Apothecary page. I really cannot stand social media. So, but I know that it is important.
You know its value.
Yes. So there will be one coming.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.